Hey, listen, welcome to Rauta's Reviews. This time we go to Belgium, and this one is death metal with a grindy take on it. Not exactly death metal grind or grind death metal, but kind of close to it. And this one is called Gore Force 5. And as you can see from this rather comical take on the cover, these guys are not fully serious with that. Now, I was lucky enough, or should I say, I should be thankful that I was lucky enough to get t-shirt with the given album. I don't always remember to show the shirts I get with the CDs and whatnot, but since I remember to do it this time, this is how they are dressed up. So Gore Force 5, and the backside saying oink oink gives you kind of an idea. Since 2007, this Belgium-based death metal band has been there saying, bite me. So these guys might not be the most serious guys in the world, and that is kind of a typical for a lot of death metal bands operating around grind and so forth. And it seems to be more like a certain kind of a scene of a thing, and that is there are lots of bands that operate around more humorous takes on the given style. I mean, it's basically where you can just divide it two different camps. Either bands are doing their death grind or whatever you want to call them in a very, very serious and political takes, like, Napalm Death. Or you just go their tongue in cheek and just like, hey, we're here to have fun, play some metal, and don't give too much of a damn about it. So this is how the CD looks like before we tune in for the Metal Archive site on the backdrop. Just to give you a little bit of heads up, this is self-financed release. There are no lyrics included. One can only wonder why. And this is a little bit weird or unusual for a full album because it's only 20 minutes. So from my perspective, coming from a long timer in the metal scene, I would say this more like sounds like MCD or EP to me rather than full album. But what do I know? Unknown are sometimes the ways of metal bands. So coming from Belgium, this band is basically successor to some previous acts, but we're here focusing on Gore Force 5 and been around since 2007, starting with the trio of EPs per this one. Now, mind you, this is my first take on the given band, my first time hearing the band, so whatever they had been doing past 17 years goes besides me. Anyway, this is how the discography looks like. You have 5 people, including some of the newer members like vocals from 2022 and onwards. And here they are saying themes are nonsense. Like I said, no lyrics are included, hard to really confront that idea, challenge it a bit and all that stuff. This is at full force, and as you can see, it has 7 tracks. I could say only 7 tracks given the track length is quite short and sweet, around 2-3 minutes marker and 20 minutes in total. So what can we say about this goofy band besides their rather goofy take on the cover here? The thing here is, these guys know their death metal pretty well. First of all, the production is already very heavy, and it already kind of grabs you by the balls and says that, okay, we are serious. We might be full of humor and we might be goofy. We're not taking ourselves too seriously and all that stuff. But when we play, we want to make sure it sounds heavy as hell. And this is very, very nice to actually hear because all their shredding guitars or drums or whatever, they are nicely, really nicely done. Even to a point that they can actually challenge a lot of bigger bands, more commercial ones, if you will, with their given production. So all really good in that department. When it comes to vocals, pretty much the same thing here. I mean, they're just proper kind of stuff with these kind of genre. There's not too much those funny moments with that. So when it comes to the actual music, it's really, really well done and focused and serious in a way. Now, if you're asking then where the humor comes into play, it's more of like those short intros to the songs themselves, like, the fake David Attenborough talk to certain song where it sounds like you're watching a nature documentary and all that stuff. There are also a point where it starts, the whole album starts with like as you were watching some kind of a travel ad or travel documentary about a beautiful paradise place or whatever. So there are these small goofy moments here and there, but by no means they are definitely not, labeling this album, let alone dominating. So while there are lots of moments with humor included, involved, they're not by no means defining the music. I would still say less would be better, because now it sounds like the band wanted to include a sort of kind of a humorous gimmick on each of the songs, which is not that mandatory. Something less is more, because it makes a stronger impact. When you start any song and you expect them some kind of a pun or joke to come up with, it kind of gets old really quickly. But I mean, by no means this is a bad thing, because like I said, mostly the music is anyway rather good. Now what this band, in my opinion, lacks are the absolute killer parts. So for example, when they go really fast, you start thinking, okay, they could be the kind of a really cool death grind act, but then you start comparing them to, say, bands which are way more serious and way more technical in that department, like Aborted, and you realize, well, Gore Force 5, while they can do their rather basic death metal, aren't exactly technically on in the level that you can compare to some of the bigger bands. When it comes to individual riffs, they're kind of a simplistic and kind of a boneheaded. It's easy to get into, but really after a few spins, you're like, something is missing. It's in food equivalent things. You're like missing a little bit salt or pepper, which is sometimes all you need to have. But the seasoning is okay, but it could be better. So I'm saying here, the band actually, with this given album, seems to lack the so-called hit songs, the memorable parts. Think of Carcass going, Corporal Jigsaw Quandary, and you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes very simplistic but effective tricks do the trick. Yes, tricks are doing the trick here. So my point here is, these guys have all the fundamental items, but the cooking part is, it could be a little bit better. Overall, if you are a death metal fan, and especially if you're the kind of a death metal fan that doesn't mind a little bit humor or grindier take on the whole deal here, this is definitely for you. I'm already interested to hear what these guys are up next time. A little bit more songs, at least, more track lengths or more tracks in general to cater to the money involved. I mean, assuming you're buying a CD, you probably want more than 20 minutes if you're paying for the full price and all. But yeah, interesting band for sure. And from what I can judge from the music and the graphics and all that stuff, I could imagine these guys are having fun on stage. So it's got to be worth something. Now, if I got you interested, check out the music. Links are included in the review. However, I couldn't find, for example, Bandcamp link for the band, so it's missing here. But at least the music is there with your favorite streaming services, including Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Music. So check out the band, and I hope you like what you are hearing. Take care.